Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Dodgers Baseball and LA Press Box. From the press box to your living room or wherever you're joining us from, welcome where baseball fans come together for every pitch, every hit, and every big moment. And as I've said many times before, with this new channel, we're trying to bring together people that are having difficulty finding the game. Maybe you're a Diamondbacks fan who's joining us today. You are welcome, even though we're Dodgers fans. And if you're affected by a local TV blackout, you're away from home, or you're simply looking for another way to stay connected to today's game, you've found your live game companion. We're going to follow every pitch with live 3D field tracking, real-time statistics, strategy, and live interaction throughout the afternoon in the chat, whether you're cheering for Arizona or Los Angeles. And if you've, like me, been in Los Angeles for a long time before you moved out of the area and still loyal to the Dodgers, welcome to you. Especially a shout out to two special friends from the old neighborhood. One is Josie Rodriguez and her son, Cesar Rodriguez. They are in Arizona, as a matter of fact, but they are still avid Dodgers fans. And this is emblematic of what we're trying to do. Keep the community together, even if you don't live in Los Angeles. But today is the game that is the finale of a 3-game National League West series between these two teams. And so far, it's kind of been a trend breaker. Through the first 2 games, the Diamondbacks have controlled the action. And what's really interesting is to see that before yesterday, the Dodgers had 16 times this season where they had lost a game. And then the next day had to face the same team. And 15 of those 16 times they won the game. That was not the case yesterday. And so now there's 2 times where that hasn't been the case. And these young, hungry teams, the Rockies before this, and now the Diamondbacks, have really kind of been giving the Dodgers some fits. In fact, in this series, Arizona has outscored the Dodgers 17-6 while out-hitting the Dodgers 23-11. And they've hit more home runs than the Dodgers. They've done a better job of consistently winning the battle of scoring runners that are on base, especially those that are in scoring position. And the Dodgers have struggled to capitalize and do the same thing. So now the Dodgers have one final chance to avoid the sweep. And throughout the season, they've built their success on responding quickly after adversity. So they didn't do it yesterday, obviously. The first 2 games weren't even close. So hopefully today, their last game before the All-Star break and the midway point in the season, they actually get back on track and show that resilience. Today, the 2 starting pitchers are Emmett Sheehan and Mitch Bratt, and the game begins with an intriguing matchup between them. For the Dodgers, Emmett Sheehan has quietly become one of the more dependable arms in the rotation, and he's consistently limited hard contact. He's attacked hitters with fastballs at the top of the strike zone, and he's averaged a better than average strikeout per inning. He's averaged more than a strikeout per inning this season. And when he's ahead in the count, like most pitchers, he has really commanded control. And we're going to see, as we always do, with the very first inning, what kind of control he has, as well as Mitch Bratt. And Bratt continues to earn opportunities with an impressive ability to throw strikes and keep hitters off balance. He doesn't overpower hitters, but he consistently limits walks throughout his time in the minors, as well as since he's been called up. That's been a key for him. And that's one of the things the Dodgers pitching rotation, the starters the last couple of days, have struggled to do. Although 2 days ago, at the beginning of this series, Shohei Ohtani was slated to pitch. And because he had some inflammation in his knee, the Dodgers decided to just let him bat. And in classic Shohei Ohtani fashion, he hit a walk-off home run his first time at the plate, but did not pitch. And so the middle relievers, which in my opinion are the weak spot for the Dodgers, are the ones that basically had to do that start by committee. But all of them got roughed up. And what the Diamondbacks did in that first game was set the tone for this series by scoring 2 runs in each of 4 different innings. And they put the Dodgers away relatively soon. So what we're going to see today is what the Dodgers are made of. Hopefully they're not looking forward to the break. And when I say looking forward, I mean looking past today's game. Of course, baseball is a grind, and everybody's looking forward to the break. After the All-Star break, the Dodgers are going to play the Yankees. So a classic matchup, and we're definitely looking forward to that. If you're joining us for the first time, let us know where you're watching from and which team you're cheering for, whether you're in LA, Phoenix, or somewhere else across the country or even in the world. I know there's a handful of you that are watching in other countries. And so, not only hello to our American viewers, some of which are abroad, but konnichiwa to those in Japan. We actually have a section of you that tune in often after the night game, so I appreciate that. And hola to all of the viewers who are in Latin America watching your favorite Dodgers. So what I'm going to do as always is I'm going to take you through the lineups that are right over my shoulder. And as you can see, as typical, the Dodgers are favored today, but that hasn't really meant anything in the first two games. As far as Bratt goes, as you can see here, his record is 0-0. His ERA is 3, and he's had 3 Ks and 2 walks so far. No home runs given up, but he's only pitched 3 innings. Emmett Sheehan, on the other hand, is 4-6, and his ERA has ballooned up to almost 5. He's at a 4.91 clip. He's got 86 strikeouts and 25 walks so far, 15 home runs. And so that's obviously a mixed bag. He can strike people out, but he gives up the long ball more often than you want to see at this point in the season. The Diamondbacks, you once again have Marte as the DH, batting .259, followed by Perdomo in the second spot, playing shortstop. Carroll in the third spot at right field, Moreno as the catcher, Gurriel Jr. left field, Vargas second base, Arenado third base, Tawa first base, and Waldschmidt is playing in center field. For the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani is the DH, and the last report we had was because of the inflammation in his knee, he was not going to travel to the All-Star game. Andy Pages, who's making his first All-Star appearance, is in his customary second spot, as well as playing center field. Freddie Freeman in the third spot as always. Mookie Betts, the cleanup. Tommy Edman in fifth, which is great to see. If you can see it on your screen, he's batting almost .350 since his ankle surgery and his rehab and his comeback to the Dodgers. So that's been a sight for sore eyes. And at his usual position of second base, which is awesome to see. Kyle Tucker in right field, batting a little bit better as of late after his second quarter struggles at the plate. Teoscar Hernandez, who has struggled somewhat, although he had a classic bone-crushing grand slam in the last series against the Padres to turn one of those games upside down. Then Max Muncy at third base, and then Edgardo Alfonso making his third start at catcher, which is a great story. Recently called up from the minors after 10 years and from Venezuela. All right, so the first pitch is in about a minute or two, and as always, I am going to load the visuals once they're ready. So we'll see when the 3D comes up and the box score, but we're ready to narrate nonetheless. This is the perfect time, if you haven't already, to grab some snacks, get a drink, and if you're watching closely, go ahead and project what we're doing on your big screen. Or your small screen, although it seems like everybody has big screen TVs today. There's our 3D. And you can see Emmett Sheehan on the mound, preparing to pitch to Marte. There's our 3D. Once again, welcome to Josie Rodriguez and Cesar Rodriguez from the old neighborhood. We'll always be family, and this is part of what we want to promote with the new channel, is a family atmosphere for people that are not just LA sports fans, but people that want to stay connected. And people that want to stay connected that play against the Dodgers or the other Los Angeles sports teams that we'll start to profile when we get into the fall, like the Los Angeles Rams, the Chargers, and UCLA football. But for now, it's a pleasure to watch the Dodgers and Emmett Sheehan about to throw the first pitch to Marte. The first ball misses outside for a ball. Marte is batting .259 so far this season with 17 home runs. And the next pitch blows it right by him. And the count's 1-1. Next pitch on the way from Sheehan and freezes Marte with a changeup. Counts 1-2. And the next pitch fouled back. This is the fourth catcher we've seen, Alfonso, for the Dodgers this year. Cannot wait to get Will Smith back. Yes, Dalton Rushing has done some good things, but I had a big rant last broadcast about the things that frustrate me about him, and I am not sold on him. He seems at this point, albeit a young rookie, to be a lot more into me than we. And it's taken the entire Dodgers culture to converge on him and try to correct some bad, all we'll call them personality habits. Next pitch misses outside for a ball. Counts 2-2. Marte's got 54 RBI on the season. Next pitch is fouled back and out of play. Alfonso can't get to it. So rare, and it feels odd to see the Dodgers in position to not be in a position to win a 3-game series or a 4-game series for that matter. And hopefully experiencing a temporary blip with a little 2-game losing streak. But you know, when you lose, it also makes you appreciate the wins that you have. And that goes not just for sports, of course, but for life, as Marte fouls another pitch off. Sheehan's really mixed it up with him. Four-seam fastballs, changeups, curves. But still not able to get out the first hitter. And Marte fouls off another. And actually chuckles. You can see him making a comment to the umpire and the catcher. Going, yeah, yeah. 9 pitches in. Make it 10. Be interesting to see if the Diamondbacks are able to continue to push up Sheehan's pitch count early. Because I believe the last time he was out, the Dodgers only let him go to 40 pitches. And he's already in double digits. And he hasn't gotten past the first batter here. Counts 2-2. And the catcher wants to go out, and looks like he's waddling out there. Have a little conference. Let's see if the 3D makes them dance together. Unfortunately, when there's only like 2 or 3 players at the mound, they act pretty normal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just wait until later. When they yank a pitcher and they send like the pitching coach out or they send the manager out, it's quite a fun detour from the serious part of the game. Yes. And the next pitch, wouldn't you know, fouled off. Well, at least there's a lot of souvenirs for Dodger fans early. So here we go. Pitch number 13, fouled out of play. What do you know? We're still going. You're just joining us. Hello. Konnichiwa. Hola. It's one of the things I love about the Dodgers. A bunch of good guys in the lineup, as far as we can tell. And that's what champions typically are. They have humility. But they're also like an international all-star team in some ways. And I just absolutely love that. And the next pitch, swung on, strike 3. So after all of that, 14 pitches to start the game, Sheehan hits him with a curveball. Yeah, whatever it takes. That was quite the display on both ends, quite the battle. Because of course Marte just kept fouling pitches off and staying alive, but Sheehan was persistent. He was disciplined in that he didn't give up the walk. And he also didn't give some cheese right down the pipe for him. So Perdomo comes up, who's batting .244 in the season and 6 home runs. And the count is already 0-2 to him. So that's somewhat refreshing. You're with us for the first time at LA Press Box? Welcome. Please go ahead and like and subscribe and get in the chat and tell us where you're joining us from. And the next pitch, they say he goes, and another strikeout. So 2 at-bats, 2 strikeouts, and if you're a Dodgers fan, you love that. Charlie loves it too. That's going to bring up Carroll. Corbin Carroll is batting .255 with 13 home runs on the season and 45 RBI. Only has 4 hits in his last 47 at-bats. And the early count to him is 1-1. Next pitch from Sheehan on the way, who's looked pretty good, is a ball. Counts 2-1. So after close to 50 years of living all around Los Angeles County, I moved to San Diego, and I'm still learning. I mean, it's 4 years now, but I love being in San Diego. I also have a lot of pride in being from Los Angeles. Um, but it's going to take me some time to really fully explore San Diego. One of the things I just learned in San Diego is they have a pretty unique tournament this weekend. Catch up with this pitch first. Strike three again. So 3 batters and 3 strikeouts for Emmett Sheehan after a 14 pitch opening, and a long way to go, 1, 2, 3 for him, but we'll take it. And the Dodgers are about to come up with Shohei Ohtani. But what I was going to say is that interesting timing, because I was thinking about giving a shout out to the Rodriguez family, as I did, from the old neighborhood, who are in Arizona. So that made me think about them. But what San Diego has is they have an over-the-line tournament, apparently. And I don't know how big a deal it is. I've been told it's a big deal. I'd love to check it out. I think it goes over 2 weekends. But it just brings back such great memories. A time when, honestly, kids used to play in the street a lot more often. Obviously, I'm going to sound like an old man. I don't care. We didn't have cell phones. And Caesar and Josie's front yard was the home run area for when we played over the line. And it was awesome. Like no fence there, just a yard and a curb. And a couple of the other friends' houses was like, that was technically where home plate was for us. And we just had so many great times playing over the line in the street. Sometimes I couldn't wait to get home from school, and my poor mother was too impatient to change my school clothes. I just go out there and dive for balls and tear them up. And I felt bad after the fact, but I just couldn't wait to get out there. So I have to check that out in San Diego. So Brat's coming up, and so is Shohei Ohtani. And Brat's only had a couple of innings in the majors, but he's done very well in the minors in a very hitter-friendly stadium, apparently. But, we'll see what happens with Ohtani. Or Shohei. Get up here, Shohei. 3D is kind of lagging here. First pitch. The 3D does not catch up, but Shohei does. And it's deep center field, and another walk-off home run for Shohei Ohtani. Wow. Just wow. And that makes his 4th home run in the last 6 games, his 22nd on the season. Andy Pages swings at the first pitch and flies out to Walchman. And the early reports are that home run went out at 112 miles per hour. So just like that, it's the Dodgers 1 and the Diamondbacks 0. Next up, Freddie Freeman. Freeman batting .293. He and Shohei going back and forth for the best batting average on the team, other than Tommy Edman. They're not even close to Tommy Edman, but Tommy Edman joined the team late, and he's only been back for about a month. However, because he's been consistently good, thanks to that ankle surgery he had after the World Series, and he can run. I mean, I saw a clip of him the other day, just going from first to second. The camera was fixed on him, and he can burn it. But in his month back, batting close to 350 consistently is still a huge achievement. And fouled off, so now the count for Freeman is 3-1. Needless to say, with 3 balls, Freddie Freeman has the green light. A little earlier in quarter 2 of this season, Freddie Freeman passed the 2,500 hit mark. And as he is marching towards the Hall of Fame, he is also marching immediately towards 3,000 hits as the next pitch is fouled off. So it's full count. And the next pitch is fly to left, and Gurriel Jr. is coming up quickly and makes the catch. So 2 away, and that'll bring up Mookie Betts. Mookie had a key hit to close out and take the series against the Rockies. In the early part of the season, really struggling at the plate, was batting well below 200. Then he's kind of battled back with a lot of extra work in the cage. Shortened his swing. You watch him, he doesn't really follow through. When he makes contact, his bat might extend just past the third base foul line. He doesn't wrap it around his back. And that's one of the reasons he doesn't quite have as much power. That and the fact that he is just now an older player. But he has recently been able to string together quite a few hits and some clutch ones. And he's done a great job at shortstop. Next pitch is fouled off. And so now the count to Mookie Betts is 2-1. And the next pitch catches him for a strike, 2-2. Next pitch from Bratt to Betts, and it's grounded to shortstop. Perdomo takes it on the run right behind second base and throws to first for the last out of the inning. But early fireworks from Shohei Ohtani. The reports are that home run was hit over 430 feet. And at the end of 1, it's the Diamondbacks 0 and the Dodgers 1. Sheehan with an outstanding start. And almost after one inning, halfway to the free Jumbo Jack deal for Dodgers fans that live in Los Angeles. While he's doing that, I'm going to load the box score and try to get these updated batting stats going for you guys. Let's see here. Box score. Good. So Moreno's going to come up and be the first batter that Emmett Sheehan faces this inning. Early count to Moreno is 0-1. And the next pitch from Sheehan, grounded to third and just under the glove of Max Muncy. He just completely misjudged it. You know, Muncy's been automatic, but the last two games, something's off with him. And, you know, he's got these shades on. But they look like the kinds of shades that are prescription, so I don't know if it has anything to do with his eyesight. But he's made a couple of uncharacteristic errors the last couple of games, and there's no other way to mark that. That's an error. That's not on Sheehan. So the first batter gets on, no outs, and that's going to bring up the 5-hitter, Gurriel Jr., who's only batting .216 on the season so far with 2 home runs. You know, it's overcast, and apparently it's all throughout Southern California because it's overcast here in San Diego County, and it's also overcast in LA. 3D does a pretty decent job of rendering and representing the weather. But honestly, that should have nothing to do with Max Muncy misjudging that ball. And the next pitch is swung on a miss for a strike. So now the count's 2-2. Sheehan looking good. Looking really good so far. And the runner advances from first to second as Sheehan balks. He was going to head home with the pitch. Showing the replay here. They say he started home and then moved towards first base, and that's illegal. But strikes out the next hitter nonetheless. So an error and a balk. These are the kinds of things that'll bite you against a team that has had your number so far. So there's a runner in scoring position, and now, with only 1 out, the first pitch is well inside for a ball to Vargas. So Sheehan out of the stretch. Takes a look at second base. And then delivers changeup for a strike. Count is 1-1. Next play on the way to Vargas. And grounded to second, and it looks like Tommy Edman does a nice job getting deep in the right field grass to prevent that from going through and being a base hit that would score the runner from second. So 2 away thanks to Edman. However, the runner advances from second to third. So that's going to bring up Arenado. And he's got enough power, although the first pitch misses high. Really got fooled. It was a curveball. It was not inside. As you can see, he really bent back because he thought that was coming at his head, and he got fooled. So if that was in the strike zone, I don't think he would have touched it. Nonetheless, the count is 2-0 now to Arenado. And the next pitch fouled off. So now the count's 2-1. Thanks in part to that first at bat of the game. Sheehan's now creeping closer to 40 pitches already. Next one's fouled off. Pitch from Sheehan on the way. And Arenado takes it for a ball. Now the count's full. So, runner on third with 2 outs. And the Dodgers have an early lead thanks to Shohei Ohtani's leadoff home run. 1 pitch, 1 home run. See if there's much of a lead over here. A little bit. And the full count pitch. Hit again to Muncy at third base. This time he charges it, gets it out of his glove quickly, and makes the throw. So no permanent damage when it comes to the score, and Muncy didn't flub that one. And so after 2 times up, Diamondbacks are still scoreless. The Dodgers look like they're jump pop dance. I've never seen that before. Jumping into the dugout. That was fun. In case you're confused or this is the first time you've seen the 3D with us, the umpire is not throwing down second base, and Tommy Edman is not cleaning off the plate. This is part of the fun transition from one point to another in the game. Edman's been on a roll since he's been back. Just in the last 4 games, he's been 5 for 14 with a double and 5 runs. That was the first pitch off from Brad. And, you know, Roberts can put him anywhere he wants in the lineup, in just about any position. He's such a great, like, humble team player. Crucial to the Dodgers' back-to-back championships and this run where Dodgers fans hope that we get to the third. When he first came back, he played left field. Hardly ever done that before. There's no qualms about that. Second base is really his jam. Fouls the next one off. And the early count to Edman is 1-2. And the next pitch is hit over by third, picked up and thrown to first without much trouble, and 1 away in this inning. And the other thing about Edman is he's a switch hitter. So he can hit from either side of the plate. He often does in the course of one game. So that'll bring up Kyle Tucker, who's batting .247 this season. 7 home runs and 47 RBI. And the first pitch, well inside for a ball, 1-0. And now the count is 1-1 to Tucker. And the next pitch, hit to second base. Vargas picks it up, hardly has to move, throws to first, and 2 away in this inning. So that'll bring up Teoscar Hernandez, who's 0 for 7 in this series. He struggled a little bit. I mean, he looks very fit after he's come back from his hamstring rehab. He's had a couple of key hits for the Dodgers, but he has not consistently been producing, and that's one reason why he's sliding down the batting order and Tommy Edman's moving up. And the early count to him is 2-0. Fouls the next pitch off, and the count is 2-1. Dodgers are hoping that when they go into this All-Star break after today's game, that just ended on a positive note with a win and some good, solid defense, which has betrayed them uncharacteristically lately. Next pitch is a ball, 3-1. Both the pitching and some of the fielding, in the infield in particular, which is one of the things that they are typically very impressive with. Their range especially, the crossover and the overlap between second, shortstop, and third is outstanding. Next pitch also misses. And so Teo is going to walk. So 2 outs and a runner on. That's going to bring up Max Muncy, who had the error but then made up for it later on. Made the play for 3 outs. If you just tuned in early, as usual, you missed some fireworks from Shohei Ohtani. First pitch blast right over dead center. Hit that ball about 437 feet at about 112 mile per hour clip. So definitely gave the Dodgers fans something positive to cheer about. And the early count to Muncy is 2-0. Next pitch, looks at it for a strike, 2-1. I'm not trying to be negative, but this has kind of been the early pattern for the Dodgers in this series. You know, they get a run, maybe they get a home run. In fact, the first game of this series, it was back-to-back blasts as the next pitch misses for a ball of 3-1. Back-to-back blasts from Shohei Ohtani and Andy Pages. So the Diamondbacks scored 2 runs at the top of the first in the first game of this series. Dodgers responded, and we were feeling really good about ourselves. And then the defense betrayed us. And another walk. Good eye by Muncy on that last pitch. And 2 straight walks with 2 outs. So now we'll have one of those huddles. And maybe if we're lucky, we'll get a little dance party. Let's check it out. Fonzo is not going out. That's part of the glitch with the 3D. Hoping for some hopping and some slam dancing. Somebody in there, looks like Brad's pretty active. Nice, I like that. Oh, somebody's sinking into hell. Gotta get them back before the next pitch. I don't know why this makes me chuckle every time. So silly. So silly. So that's going to bring up the starting catcher getting his 3rd start today, Edgardo Alfonzo, who's been living a dream and a nightmare simultaneously, unfortunately. Got called up from the minors after 10 years of languishing there. And then at the same time that the dream becomes a reality, so does the nightmare. And he has 2 family members that die as a result of the earthquake in Venezuela. So if you're joining us from Venezuela, thank you very much. Hola. Gracias. Fouls the next pitch off, and the count's 1-1 to Alfonzo. And fouls another one off. The count's 1-2. So Brett in the middle of his biggest challenge, no doubt, after coming up from the minors, facing a brutally tough Dodgers lineup near the top of almost every offensive category in the National League. Another foul, out of play. I don't believe Alfonzo has any RBI yet. Brief window of participation for the Dodgers. But he's up there battling. It's 1-2. It'd be great to bring home a run right here, obviously. Pretty decent lead at second. Okay. And another one fouled out. The next pitch, hit to shortstop. charged, and the play made for the third out of the inning. So hopefully this pattern does not continue for the Dodgers, because this is what they have been doing. They've been stranding runners in scoring position. And both the Rockies before this series and the Diamondbacks have not been doing that with any regularity, and that's been the difference in a lot of these games. So at the bottom of 2, it is the Diamondbacks 0 and the Dodgers 1. So Sheehan back to the mound, who's really looked good early on. Started the game with 3 straight strikeouts, although the first batter really made him work for it. I think it was 14 pitches. And next up will be Tawa, who had a home run in the first series, or excuse me, the first game of this series. But Tawa's only batting .213 on the season. In this series, he's had the Dodgers' number. He's been 6 for 9 with 2 doubles, along with that home run. So hopefully Sheehan can stop the bleeding. First pitch is in there for a strike. And the early count to Tawa is 0-2. I just had an interesting question, like, why can't we see the game live? Because that's copyright infringement. Oops. So that stuff that you basically have just, it's become white noise after all these years of watching these broadcasts, like rebroadcast without our permissions, expressly forbidden, blah, 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 for all the pro sports. That's why you can't do that. That's their copyrighted material. But we can show simulation. We can talk about it. Otherwise, I would show it to you. But at the same time, this is part of why I have the channel going, because in some cases, you can't see your team, even if normally that would be the case, because you'll have a local blackout. And a couple of years ago, after always wanting Los Angeles teams to do well, it was really the first time I truly became a Dodgers fan. And it was the way that they carried themselves. It was them winning the championship, as the count is 2-2 at Tawa. And it just happened to all come together at a time that I had recently moved from Los Angeles. And the next pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. So another strikeout for Sheehan. And during that time, there was a time when I was resettling, so to speak, and I didn't have cable, and I couldn't always watch the Dodgers. And so I would rely on sometimes these people that would illegally rebroadcast stuff on YouTube, or I'd listen to people talking. And even if I had cable, and this is still the case, there's a lot of people that can't rely on seeing the game on the same platform all the time. Sometimes they'll say, well, the next one's going to be on Apple TV, and then there's going to be one on MLB TV, and then, okay, NBC. And you're jumping around through all these platforms, not all of which you have a subscription to. And so this is part of what I appreciated during my time, and I want to be able to do for people too. Is kind of give them a consistent place to come together, even if you're not watching actual live footage. You're watching live movement because that's what's amazing with the technology in the major leagues. Next pitch misses for a ball to Walschmidt. Walschmidt bringing up the rear 9 spot. And 2 strikes on Walschmidt. And another curveball for a strike. And a punch out. So Sheehan looking great today. Great. Not only has he held the Diamondbacks scoreless, they have 1 hit. I don't even know if they have a hit yet. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a no-hitter going early on. But it's only 1 time around, and now the 2nd time around for him. And facing the 1-hitter, Marte. Marte is the person who got him high in the pitch count the 1st time around. I believe it was 14 pitches to start the game off. So hopefully it's not that many, not even close this time around. A lot of foul balls, and there's one for you. Count is 1-1. I think that at bat was 6 minutes. Let's hope it's not close to that this time. This one's actually in fair play, and it's lined to right field, but not too much trouble for Kyle Tucker. And so much quicker at bat and a quicker inning this time. And 3 away with the Diamondbacks still scoreless. So just like that, Shohei Ohtani's coming up again. Who hit his 9th leadoff home run of this season. I think he's getting close to 30 of those in his career. I think he's had 3 just in his last 5 games. Oh good, we actually get to see his 3D. And first pitch misses inside for a ball, well inside. Although that's a pitch sometimes you'll see Shohei swing at. It's really disappointing when he does that. And if you're watching from Japan, konnichiwa. Thank you for joining us. And he fouls one off right off of his big toe. And he's going to have to walk that one out. He does that quite a bit. He has a shield that goes over the inside of his right shoe, but he has this knack of still making contact. And he has like this little boyish grimace after the fact, but it doesn't seem, all things considered, to be terribly serious. So reloads in there. And the next pitch on the way from Bratt. Swung on and hit very deep. It's in right center, and it's going to be off the wall. It's not going to be a home run, but it's going to be a stand-up double for Shohei Ohtani. And he does the Dodger dance, of course. Got to keep the mojo positive. Wow, so a home run and a double already. And that'll bring up Andy Pages, getting ready to make his first appearance in the All-Star game after an outstanding job to begin the season. Pages is 0 for 1. And he's batting .270. Too bad the days of Shohei Ohtani being a terror on the base paths seem to be over. Next pitch is way inside, so now the count's 2-0 to Andy. And I understand why they're being judicious about it. He just recently had his 32nd birthday, Shohei did. And that season he hit 50 home runs and had 50 stolen bases. He wasn't pitching. He was still rehabbing. And Brad has now thrown 3 straight balls to Andy Pages. And make that 4. So nobody out. And after Pages walks to follow Shohei's stand-up double off the fence, Freddie Freeman comes up. Runners on first and second. And the first pitch to Freddie misses high and outside for ball 1. Next pitch clips the strike zone for strike 1. Next pitch on the way from Bratt, who's really being tested now, primarily by Shohei Ohtani. Although the Dodgers had a runner stranded last inning. We don't want to see this trend continuing again this inning of stranding runners in scoring position. Another ball by Bratt. The count's 3-1. So Brad a little bit upside down with his balls and strikes, and this one is hit deep enough to right for the out, but also looks like Ohtani's going to be able to tag up, and so is Andy Pages. So that's good, solid baseball. Only 1 away, and now you have 2 runners in scoring position, both of whom can run. Needless to say, Shohei's going to have no problem tagging up if there's a ball that's hit with some depth in the outfield. And if there's a base hit, not only will he come home, but probably, hopefully, Andy Pajes, who plays center field. You've got to be able to run, be able to play center field effectively. And he's done an outstanding job there this season when it comes to that respect. And here comes another huddle on the mound. And I would be surprised if they don't make the move and get Brad out of there. But count me surprised. They're going to leave him in there. Face Mookie Betts. Who did have a clutch hit to clinch the game in the last series against the Rockies. First pitch well outside for another ball, 1-0. Brett's only pitching 50% strikes, which is not a good ratio today. Next pitch is not one of those. Curveball that started way too high and never got back down into the strike zone. And the next pitch is flied high and short. So Mookie gave Shohei nothing to work with. And now there's two away. And I'm going to have to get a hit to get a run. And that job is going to be up to Tommy Edman. Got to bring in at least one of these runners. And I guess just based on average, Tommy Edman's your best bet. Batting .344. First pitch misses outside for a ball, 1-0. Dodgers hoping not to strand two more runners in scoring position. So Edman about to receive the pitch from Brett, who they decided to leave in, and hits a bloop that's just over the infield, and that's going to bring home Ohtani. And now Pajes is going to be at the plate and just skirts the tag. And Tommy Edman gets the job done. There you go. Man. Good job, Tommy Edman. They tried to make the play at home, and what happened was on that bloop single, the left fielder threw all the way home. There was no cutoff throw. It was a little bit offline, and it actually hit Andy Pajes in the back of his leg, I think. Actually, his left knee, right before he made contact with the plate, right before he stepped on the plate, excuse me. Great job, Tommy Edman. So now the Dodgers are up 3-0. And thanks to Tommy Edman, who's at second base, Kyle Tucker has a runner in scoring position that he can bring home too. Tucker's 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded out the first time. And the first pitch misses outside. 1-0. With us for the first time, or even if you're not, go ahead and like, and it would be great to subscribe, get us out there as a new channel to more and more people. As we march toward the fall, we'll be multitasking and quite busy, because as much as I love the Dodgers, football's even more so my jam and my experience and my background. So we'll continue to follow the Dodgers as they inevitably get to the playoffs and try to march their way to another World Series. Next pitch is fouled off, so now the count's 1-1. But then we will also cover the Rams and the Chargers when there's not a conflict with the Rams, as well as UCLA football. And even later in the year when the Lakers come around, we'll be taking a look at them too. So Tucker swings and grounds to first for an easy third out of the inning. The Dodgers do a great job of getting on base with the leadoff double from Shohei Ohtani, followed up by a walk to Andy Pages, and then a clutch single with 2 outs from Tommy Edman to bring them both home. And so at the end of 3, it's the Diamondbacks still 0, but now the Dodgers have 3. Well, this for me has a very different feel than the last handful of games of the Dodgers. Because not only do we have a lead of a couple of runs early, but I really like the way that our starting pitcher is performing so far. Sheehan has been pretty dominant. Struck out the first 3 batters that he faced, has added a couple of strikeouts, and flummoxed a few other batters along the way. So he's going to face Perdomo, who's 0 for 1. Batting .243 on the season. First pitch misses for a ball. Sheehan, wearing number 80, misses by a hair low and inside. Now the count's 2-0. Next one is lined foul, and that brings the count to 2-1. And now Sheehan is right at 55 pitches. I hope he can make quick work of the next few batters so he can stay in through the 6th at least. Because, as I said before, in my opinion, the weak part of our entire team is the middle relief. Next pitch is also fouled off, and the count's 2-2 now. Dodgers gradually getting healthier. Hopefully Kike Hernandez will be back before too long. Fly to right, and Kyle Tucker's going back to the warning track, but no further, and makes the catch there. Of course, it'd be great to have Will Smith back. Needed leadership behind the plate. That's one thing that I think can help our pitching staff. And just a reliable hitter with no drama, like Dalton Rushing. So the next batter for Sheehan is Carroll. Carroll's also 0 for 1. He's batting .254 this year. Starts him off with a strike. The next one is low, but swung and fouled off, so now it's 0-2. Next pitch, high for a ball. And the count is 1-2. And the next pitch is a curveball and freezes him for strike 3. So Sheehan continues to roll and creating some optimism if you're a jack-in-the-box frequenter in the LA area. It's because if the Dodgers get 7 strikeouts tomorrow, people in the LA area will get a free jumbo jack for the purchase of a drink. So that's going to bring up Moreno, the cleanup, who is 1 for 1. And he's batting .303. And the next pitch clips the corner for strike 1. Really good control by Sheehan and a nice mix of pitches. They really can't get a beat on him. Next one's fouled off. Evidence of that. Really good to see Sheehan stepping up, especially because Roki Sasaki, that's been a little bit of disaster. You know, in the first quarter of the season, they were thinking, the Dodgers staff was interviewed to say that they thought really like his struggles were behind him, and they did not anticipate what's happened the last few outings for him. Next pitch is fouled off. It's a sad thing to see because the guy seems really sensitive. And he's fighting back tears in some cases when he's on the mound and things don't go his way and he's giving up home runs. The 1-2 pitch on the way from Sheehan. And that's also fouled off. Count remains. So a couple of trends seem to be reversed, and that's good news if you're a Dodgers fan. We've been able to score some runs and bring home runners in scoring position, in addition to yet another walk-off home run by Shohei Ohtani. Next pitch misses low for ball 2, 2-2. Maybe even more importantly, our starting pitching looks very solid this game. And the next pitch on the way, fly to center field. Andy Pages charging, and he slides gracefully and makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. Gosh, that was beautiful. He made a very difficult play look easy. And that's one of the reasons he's an all-star. Not only done a really solid job at the plate, not quite as good at the plate the second quarter as the first quarter of the season, but so good in center field, you know. And it's not just about speed; it's about seeing the ball hit off of the bat and anticipating properly the way that you would need to not take a false step. Often, this is my bias. Often in football, it doesn't matter what position you're coaching, and I've coached them all. Coached both high school and college, and I played at the college level. Um, Sometimes you'll just say that's part of the trademark that you need to have to be a really good football player is to take the correct first step based on whatever situation or play or responsibility you have at any given point in the game. And this is what you see with Pages a lot of the time. As soon as the bat comes off, the ball comes off the bat, like his first step is at the perfect angle to intersect that ball in the earliest point he can get there. And that's what skill is. That's what a highly skilled, highly trained athlete does that sometimes we don't see or we take for granted. And as you can see, the Diamondbacks are about to bring in Clark in relief. And so definitely a mixed bag for their starter. And the Dodgers here hoping to add some runs to their 3-run lead. Apparently tonight is Kike Hernandez bobblehead night. I don't know if you're big into bobbleheads. If that's something you are, let me know in the chat. So Teoscar Hernandez is coming up again and really needs to get off to a better foot and see the ball hit the bat. But he's going to be facing Taylor Clark, who's pitched in 41 games this year, and his ERA, I believe, is about 2.8. Starts Teo with a strike. And the next one is exactly the opposite of what I'm saying. You can see that one. Teo pulled his head to the left. He did not have eye contact as the ball was crossing the plate where it would hit the bat. And he got completely jammed up inside. Next pitch on the way. And he looks at strike 3. Not a good looking at bat for Teo. Speaking of looks, I know this is random. Is it me, or does Teoscar look a little bit like the Latin version of Eddie Murphy? Just thinking that the other day when he was in an interview and he was smiling. Just thought of Eddie Murphy. All right, so that's going to bring up Max Muncy, who is batting in the 8th spot. That's a little bit unusual for him. Usually he's the 5th or the 6th hitter. Occasionally as high as the 4th. His first time up, he walked. And Max Muncy going to another All-Star game after working his tail off in the offseason. Lost about 15 or 20 pounds so he can be more flexible and he can be faster. And the first pitch is a strike. And the early count now is 2-1 actually to Muncy. You know, the big thing about him being more lean is as the next pitch is fouled off, and now it's 2-2. It keeps him more healthy. So we're about to go into this All-Star break that the really intense, more meaningful games are the ones in the second half of the season. And for that run, you don't want to be missing any games, especially if you're one of the key players for the Dodgers. Next one's also fouled off, so the count remains 2-2. And another foul. Muncy is only a couple home runs away from breaking Eric Karros's all-time home run record with a number hit in Dodger Stadium, which is not something I would expect from either of them. I mean, I know Eric Karros he was awesome for the Dodgers. Now he's in the booth announcing for the Dodgers. But then again, I don't know who else it would be. So 1 away. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed by Max Muncy for strike 3. So now there's 2 down. So that'll bring up Alfonso again, who's 0 for 1. First time up, he grounded out. He is not holding his bat upside down, just for the record. This is one of the things that makes watching the Dodgers so fun for me personally, is I see the 9-hitter who normally struggles. I mean, that's just how it goes for baseball. But I get excited about the fact that Shohei Ohtani's on deck. Next pitch flips the strike zone for a strike. And the third bounces in the dirt. And now it's 2-1 to Alfonso. Clark doing a nice job so far in relief for the Diamondbacks. Next pitch. Very high for ball 3. And now Alfonso has a hitter's count with 3 balls and 1 strike. Next one fouled off, and now the count's full. So full count and 2 outs. Shohei Ohtani on deck. And the pitch is flied high and pretty deep to right field. But the play is made there for the 3rd out of the inning. And for the first time today, the Dodgers go 1-2-3. And at the end of 4, it's the Diamondbacks 0 and the Dodgers 3. So Sheehan back to work, looking really good today. And he's going to start with the 5-hitter, Gurriel Jr. And first pitch is swung on and flied high. And the catch made just behind the first base bag and out of bounds by Freddie Freeman for the first out of the inning. Stay tuned for Shohei Ohtani to lead off the next time the Dodgers are up. Hit the very first pitch in his first at bat over center field. There was no doubt. His 9th leadoff home run of this season. Dodgers in a pretty good position right now to be able to go into the All-Star break with a positive feeling based on the way Sheehan's looked. 6-hitter Vargas is facing him, who's 0 for 1 tonight against Sheehan. And the early count now is 1-1. It's really good to see Sheehan performing well because that gives the Dodgers at least 4 really solid arms to start the game, which honestly is not their biggest weakness. You know, I cringe a little bit when we get closer to this part of the game and there's the middle relievers coming in. And there's some talent there, but they're just so inconsistent. But if you have Sheehan continue to perform around this level, and the next pitch is a ball. So now the count's 3-1. Then you have Yamamoto, who was the World Series MVP last year. Then, of course, you have Shohei. And you have Justin Robleski. He's having maybe his best season. You can argue could be an all-star. And this one is hit in the gap to right center, and it's in there for a double as Andy Pages does a great job running to that ball and wheels around to throw it because it's such an awkward angle to throw it from, though. The batter's able to get in there and slide for a double. That's not on Andy Pages. So Sheehan facing just a little bit of pressure now. And Emmett's got a person on second base that he's checking. Not the first time today. He's actually had a couple of runners in scoring position. And he was in a bit of a bind early on with Max Muncy making an error, but then ultimately making up for it. And no harm, no foul, no score still for the Diamondbacks. Next pitch is a strike. So the next pitch, and Arenado blasts it, and it's gonna go over Pages' head. It was kind of a difficult, he slowed down a little bit late, almost like it was difficult to see. The pitch was down, but he went up and he went and got it and lifted it, and Pages ended up letting it play off the wall, barehanded it and threw it, but a run scores. So the first run of the day for the Diamondbacks. And now the score is 3-1 Dodgers, with back-to-back doubles and another runner, consequently, in scoring position. And that'll bring up Tawa, who's been a terror for the Dodgers in this series. 0 for 1 today, but came into the game 6 for 9 with a home run and a couple of doubles. check swing foul for the first pitch, 0-1. So trying to limit the damage here. As now Sheehan is getting into the upper 70s in his pitch count. Checks second. And comes home with the pitch. And looked at for a strike. Now the count's 0-2. Next one is well high for the first ball. So one away. And flied again to center field. Pages going back over his left shoulder. Has got a good track for it, but it bounces off of his glove. He had kind of a, sorry you couldn't see with the 3D. I tried to give you a chance. You can't zoom straight in. And he did like this little, like half bunny hop as he got to the warning track. And I guess that threw off his eye contact with the ball. And we're kind of lucky that the runner at second was trying to tag because he thought Andy was going to make the catch. Almost everybody thought Andy was going to make the catch. And so he was only able to advance to third. Should have been the second out of the inning. But instead, we have two runners in scoring position, including Walshman at second now. And only one out. Sorry, Walshman's up. Walshman's 0 for 1. Now the tying run's at second base. And this, unfortunately, is one of the things that fits the pattern that the Dodgers have had the last several games. More so against the Diamondbacks than the Rockies. We really want Sheehan. I mean, really want him to be able to get through this inning. And ideally, it would be the following inning, but he just gave up 2 blasts after looking lights out. And he's now at 84 pitches. And the count is 3-1. So Sheehan 1 pitch away from loading up the bases with Walshman. Next pitch on the way, and a curve just outside the strike zone, swung on and missed. So an important time to get an out, ideally a strikeout. So full count, 2 runners in scoring position. Pitch, fly deep to right, and it looks like Tucker's going to be able to make this catch, but they're going to be able to tag up. No question about it. And they do. They try to throw it home on the cutoff, but there's no way. And so now the score is 3-2. And another pitch hit well. It wasn't placed well, but it was hit deep. And Sheehan trying to keep the wheels from coming off after looking unbeatable in the first few innings. So 2 outs. And Marte coming up, who is an excellent contact hitter. And the pitch from Sheehan to Marte is driven to center again. Let's hope Andy Paez can get this one. It's in the same spot, and he does make the catch. Wow. Went from kind of taking him for granted and me giving him all this praise about proper steps and being outstanding in the outfield, probably as much an all-star as a result of his play in the outfield as what he's done at bat this year. But 2 problems in the same inning. And now, all of a sudden, the Diamondbacks are right there with the Dodgers. And going to the bottom of the 5th, now it's the Diamondbacks 2 and the Dodgers 3. So Clark goes out there again after a 1-2-3 inning last time in relief. And he's going to face the pride of Japan, Shohei Ohtani. Nohokori Nihon. Shohei's the person that's damaged the Diamondbacks most today. Had a home run on the very first pitch at his very first at bat, and then also has hit a double. First pitch in this at bat is outside for a ball. One of the good things about Shohei that we've seen today, unlike many other days, is there was a pitch inside that he was able to stay away from and didn't pull his head around. And the pitch to Shohei is chopped down, and the catcher comes out quickly, picks it up, and it was some distance from home plate. He's able to throw out Shohei, who of course is fast. His legs don't turn over quite as fast as you would see with some other runners, but he's tall, so he covers a lot more ground with each stride. And it looks like the Diamondbacks are going to make a pitching change, even though Clark's done a good job. So that's going to bring up Thompson, who's a sidearm thrower. Very interesting. Hopefully the 3D picks this up well. To face Andy Pajes with nobody on and one out. And the first pitch is a strike, 0-1. In fact, I think I'm going to go to pitcher view like you would normally see on television, just to see if we can pick up this guy's sidearm delivery. Very unique. Pajes walks out of the box, so Thompson walks off the mound. Yeah, it picks it up pretty good. You can see this long, sweeping sidearm delivery. It's almost underhand. It's just got such an unusual arc to it. And he's tall, too. He looks like he's at least 6'5". That's a long delivery. The count to Pajes is 0-2. And more of the same. Another foul back after that long looping sidearm curve. You know, one of the things that all sports rely on is great preparation, right? So how do you simulate the possibility of facing a pitcher like Thompson with this body type and then this delivery type? You pretty much can't. So he strikes out Pajes. Now there's 2 away, and he's facing Freddie Freeman, who swings and misses at his first pitch too. And the next pitch is swung on and missed too. And it looked like it hit Freddie Freeman. I don't think he didn't make any contact. There was no foul tip that I know of. It definitely hit him in the knee. And maybe I'm mistaken. Otherwise, I think Freddie would say, no, I got hit. I didn't make contact with the ball. So 2 strikes on Freddie Freeman. And 2 outs. And the next pitch on the way from the very long, lanky, sidearm slinger, Thompson. And swung on and hit to left field. And caught for the 3rd out. So good job done by the pitchers in relief. And Thompson does what he's slated to do. And after 5 innings, it is the Diamondbacks 2 and the Dodgers 3. So Sheehan comes out to begin the 6th inning with a higher than normal pitch count, and then hoping to be able to make it through this inning quickly before we get to our middle relievers. That last hit was actually a foul, so the count is 1-1 early to Perdomo. And the next pitch, right on the edge, about as close as it can be. And it was called a strike, but Arizona's going to challenge. And it's going to be overturned by a super small margin. So now the count's 2-1 instead. Perdomo backs out. And Sheehan has looked very different the last handful of batters compared to how he started this game. Perdomo with a slightly open stance, and the next pitch misses. So now the count's 3-1. Next pitch, in there for a strike, full count. And the full count pitch misses outside. And so Sheehan starts the 6th by putting the first batter on. And that's going to bring up Corbin Carroll. Carroll's 0 for 2 and batting .254. And both of those at-bats he struck out tonight. One time swinging, the other time looking. So Sheehan wants to get a third one here, that's for sure. And the first pitch is fouled back for strike 1. Next pitch. Low and swung on for a strike, 0-2. What you haven't seen the Diamondbacks do yet is steal. Check out this lead at first. Pretty minimal. Right at the edge of the cut. Sheehan looking over there. Next pitch, definitely a ball. So the count's 1-2 to Carroll. And the next pitch just dropped by the catcher, Alfonso, and spins around looking for the ball, loses track of it, and that allows the runner to go from first to second. This is what's bit the Dodgers in the butt the last couple of games. Just poor defensive play, which is the opposite of their trademark. That's not what you normally see from the Dodgers. Although this is the guy, God bless him, who was just called up from the minors recently. Still no excuse for letting that one pop out of his glove. So no outs and a runner at second. Representing the tying run. Carroll fouls the next one off. And he does that one too, and the count's 2-2. Sheehan is about to throw his 100th pitch. And this is what the Diamondbacks have been doing. They've been wearing down Dodgers pitchers. Just fouling a lot of balls off, extending the game. Another one fouled off. No outs. And 2-2 pitch once again on the way to Carroll. And fly deep to right. This has happened a couple of times to Sheehan recently. And deep enough where the runner's going to be able to tag and go from second to third. And that was set up by a defensive miscue. Ball just popped right out of the catcher's glove. And that might be it for Sheehan. I'm in the mood for a dance party, so this couldn't have come too soon. See if we get one. Sheehan slinks off the mound. So the Dodgers bring Edgardo Enriquez from the bullpen. Got a 2.33 ERA with 37 strikeouts and 14 walks based on 36 game appearances. And overall, one of the guys that I have the most confidence in. I don't have nearly as much confidence in Will Klein, Kyle Hurt. I don't have confidence in those guys, or that I have confidence in Enriquez. And needless to say, this is a key moment as he faces Moreno, the cleanup hitter, who's got a runner in scoring position on third. Started him with a strike, and then the next pitch was high and a little inside, so now the count's 1-1 to Moreno. Moreno batting .302 on the season. The next pitch also misses. The thing I like about Enriquez is he can just throw straight gas. His fastball averages just over 100. Next pitch misses, and now it's 3-1. And the only pitcher in the majors that averages higher speed fastballs, Mason Miller. But that doesn't matter if you don't have control. And that's what he shows with the first batter. 4 of 5 pitches balls and walks them. So now the Diamondbacks have runners at the corners. And only 1 out. So needless to say, we all like to see a double play. Strikeouts are always welcome, but I just want to get out of this inning. And Gurriel Jr. is coming up. He's 0 for 2 today, and he's batting .213 on the season. Enriquez throws another ball. Gets Gurriel swinging on the next one and evens the count. And the next pitch, slide to right. It looks like it's going to be definitely out of bounds and up against the fence. The netting, to be precise. And Tucker could not quite get there in time. And you know what? That might not have been a horrible thing. Because for those of you who don't know in baseball, you can tag up on a fly out, whether it's in fair or foul territory. And so the runner on third would have had a decent chance to score and even this game. So the count's 1-2. So runners at first and third. And Gurriel Jr. makes contact, and it goes to Max Muncy at third, who throws home, but it hits the runner in the back. And the runner smartly ran to the infield part of this white line. So if you take a look at this foul line that goes from the batter's box on the left-hand side all the way to third base, he was running on the grass, which is exactly where Max Muncy had to field that ball. And he was purposely in line to block the throw home, which would have had to tag the runner for him to be out. So now the game is tied. And some of that was led to by a defensive mishap. Dodgers have not looked sharp almost this last week defensively. That's not good. So we're all tied now. There's still only 1 out, and there's runners at first and third. And the next pitch from Enriquez to Vargas is wide. You know, the thing is that Max Muncy might have been able to go to second base and turn a double play. It's hard to know. We'll never know. But if you're not going to try to turn two, you have to be able to throw cleanly to home. And Max has been playing that position for a long time. He should know whether he's going to have a clean path or not. Because while he's fielding that ball, in his peripheral vision, he can kind of see where the runner's going to be. So only 1 out. And Vargas hits it deep. Oh, this is going to be trouble. It's in the right corner, and they're going to score 1 run. The others are coming around. And it looks like Vargas, who was rounding first, and then after thinking of going to second, heading back, gets thrown out. Going to create the second out of the inning. But just like that, the Dodgers are down. It was a good job by Mookie Betts realizing the situation and grabbing that ball from right field quickly and then throwing to first, giving Freddie Freeman the chance to tag him out as he was sliding back. So 4-3 now, and another runner in scoring position. The Dodgers just trying to escape from this inning. And it's grounded to first base. Freddie Freeman gets it and easily jogs to first base, making the final out of the inning. But the damage is done, and the lead that the Dodgers had that was making them feel good about themselves is gone. And we're about to go to the bottom of the sixth with the Diamondbacks up 4-3. All right, so the Dodgers once again have their work cut out for them. Not that there's a big lead in the game, but this is not the trend that we like to see, but yet it's the trend that's been taking place. So Mookie Betts up. And Thompson's still on the mound. And this one's chopped short. But the shortstop comes up and charges the ball, makes the play with barehanding the ball and flicking it to first. And I rather enjoyed that view of Thompson from the other angle, so I'm going to go back to it for a little bit. Oh, they're taking him out. Oh well. They seem to be doing a pretty good job managing their pitchers. They know their staff, and right now the bottom line is they have the lead. And one away, the bottom of the sixth. And I believe Tommy Edman coming up next. And if it is, then Edman typically, as a switch hitter, will face whatever side the pitcher's on. The opposite side, excuse me, so you can make eye contact with the ball easily as it comes from the far side. Gives him a split second to make eye contact and see the rotation on the ball that'll help him anticipate what kind of pitch it is. So Kevin Ginkel is going to come in for the second time this series. He's pitched in 40 games. And the first pitch is flied to right, and wow, a bump. And it could have been a terrible collision in right field, as four different Diamondbacks, three in particular, were all converging on that pitch, on that hit. They actually hit knees, as I think the shortstop and the right fielder made contact, but the first baseman was out there too. So that's going to bring up Kyle Tucker with 2 outs. Tucker's 0 for 2 today and 1 for 9 in the series. Batting .245 on the season. Fouls the first pitch off. And the next pitch from Ginkel is lined to third base, and a diving catch there. Wow, great job. Great play at third base. And the Diamondbacks are showing the defense that we're used to, but we're not getting right now from the Dodgers. Outstanding. And so, even though the Dodgers created some difficult defensive binds for them, they made and converted 2 outs that could have easily been hits. But instead, the Dodgers don't score. And at the end of 6, it's the Diamondbacks 4 and the Dodgers 3. So Brock Stewart's coming out from the bullpen, trying to keep this close as we go to the top of the 7, and Tawa coming up. Brock's got a 3.12 ERA in 9 games for the Dodgers this year. And Stewart starts him with a ball outside. Next pitch is a strike. 1-1. And the next pitch is grounded to third, and Muncy makes what was supposed to be a routine play, but there's been some drama with him the last couple of games. And today he had one that hit off of his glove completely misjudged it. And then in the last inning, you can argue made both a mental error and a throwing error. And now Waldschmidt comes up. And the early count to Waldschmidt is 1-1. Waldschmidt for the day so far is 0-1. And the next pitch is fouled off. You know, if you're not playing very well defensively, and right now the Dodgers still under their average. Let's see if that holds up for all three of these games. Their average is 5 and above in terms of the runs they're scoring. You're feeling frustrated with your performance, and then you have these hitters that are very stubborn, make good contact, which misses outside. It's easy to let that get to you. And then be forced into some mental errors that you wouldn't normally make. Next pitch is inside, and it's a full count. And he walks the opening batter. Actually, no, there's one out. He walked the batter with one out. So now 1 out and 1 on. I have a hard time empathizing with relievers that come in especially and walk people. The first batter or the second batter. Especially when it's a team that's not doing great in the standings. I mean, Arizona is second in the National League West, but they're behind the Dodgers in terms of double digit. They're probably behind them like 12 games in the standings, and then after that is the Padres. And the Diamondbacks, last time I looked, were just out of wild card contention. So make hits. Make them put the ball in play rather than just putting them on base. And somebody's stealing. Oh, it looks like a hit and run. Well, that's interesting. And you know what? That's a thought. Against Alfonso behind the plate, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to steal or hit and run again with Marte up there. There's 2 strikes on Marte. And the Diamondbacks are at the top of their lineup. See how the lead looks over here. And it doesn't go. And the next pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. So next up is going to be Geraldo Perdomo. 2 outs and a runner at first. And the first pitch well inside for a ball. Perdomo does not throw his bat. It's just one of the charming glitches of 3D. You know, the thing about that throw home, when Perdomo was on the base and scored, Max Muncy hit him in the back, was it looked like the catcher wasn't standing in a space off of the plate for Muncy to be able to throw the ball to him. He was standing on the plate like it was going to be a force out. And the runner's going again. And they throw down to second base, and not in time. Got a pretty good jump. And that's what I would have done. I would have tried to steal again or hit and run. Smart, small ball, as they say. In other words, winning ball. Just standing up there trying to hit home runs. So 2 away, and now a runner in scoring position. And Stewart trying to keep him from coming home. The pitch to Perdomo on the corner for a strike. So now the count's 2-1. And the pitch, fly to right field, and Tucker's getting over there and gives ground to Andy Pages, who makes the catch and ends the inning, throwing the ball into the stands. So now to the 7th inning stretch, and the Dodgers have 3, looking up at the Diamondbacks with 4. So Jonathan Loaizaga comes in for the Diamondbacks, who's pitched in 39 games. Has 24 strikeouts and only 7 walks on the season. And he's going to face Teoscar Hernandez, who's 0 for 1 today. He did walk early on. First pitch to Teo, misses inside for a ball. Teo's definitely, he's struggled. I think we can officially say he is struggling at the plate now. His average now is below 250, he's at 245. And that's on the season overall. Next pitch, flips the strike zone. And the next pitch, curveball, and he misses badly. Wow, he wasn't even close. And the ball was, it was outside. It could make contact. It'd be a stretch to make contact with that pitch located there, but he was not even close. He's just guessing. And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes back to the same pitch. And the pitch from Loaizaga. A little bit closer, but pretty much the same pitch. And swung on a miss by Teoscar Hernandez. He just walks off like kind of mystified, looking at the sky going, what do I need to do? And he looks kind of like he's lost and he has no clue. So here comes Max Muncy, trying to make up for some of his defensive blunders today. Love Max, but I mean, we're going to call them what they are. They were blunders. No excuse for them. And he swings and misses at the first pitch. Next one way outside. Almost a pass ball, although no runner on for it to be relevant if it is. The count's 1-1. Let's see. And the next pitch is a dangerous spot with Muncy. It's high and inside, and he likes to turn on those and rip them down the right field line for doubles and triples. But it was just a foul. So now the count's 1-2. And the next pitch swung on and fly to left, going back to the warning track, but it's going to be the second out of the inning. And the Dodgers are going to make a change. They're going to bring in Dalton Rushing, who's 0 for 7 in this series. But obviously Dave Roberts looking for some kind of spark here, as now the Dodgers are down to their final 7 outs. So Loizaga is going to face Dalton Rushing with 2 outs and nobody on. And in Dodger Stadium, they're playing the Charge music. The bugle playing, and we'll see if Rushing can respond. And the first pitch is stared at for a strike, 0-1. And the next pitch, a little further outside. It was a ball, but Rushing swung at it and fouled it into the stands. So suddenly down 0-2. Next pitch on the way to what will probably be a catcher substitution. And it misses high for a ball, 1-2. Next pitch, fouled, and the count remains 1-2. Fouled again. Didn't look like it with the 3D. And I know we have high expectations for the Dodgers, and it's easy to get frustrated at times, especially when you see some defensive miscues. Seeing that in multiple games back to back. But they're only 1 run down right now. And as usual, I'm excited at seeing this 9-hitter because you know who is on deck. Rushing does a good job fighting at this point, and he makes the count full at 3-2. So Rushing battling up there off the bench. And so 2 outs and the count full. And Loizaga throws it low and walks. Ball 4. Good job by Dalton Rushing, drawing the walk. And now with 2 outs and a runner on, that brings up Godzilla, Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani's done a nice job today. On base a couple of times. Either on base or around the bases, if you're counting his first at bat. First pitch of that was a blast to center field. 112 miles an hour, and it traveled over 430 feet. First pitch to him is a ball. Make that 2-0. And the next pitch is called a strike. Looks like it might have missed, but Ohtani's choosing not to challenge. Dodgers have both of their challenges intact for this game. And the next pitch looked at for a strike, and so now it's 2-2. So 2 outs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the next pitch, low and outside, but fouled off by Ohtani, who's protecting the plate, and that's what you got to do. This has been one of my criticisms of rushing, but rushing got on base. And some of the other younger batters for the Dodgers that aren't protecting the strike zone with 2 strikes. But this is what you see being done by true professionals like Ohtani. So it's 2-2, 2-2. And the pitch on the way to Shohei Ohtani is low and in the dirt, and he swings and strikes out. So a little bit of life with 2 outs. Fizzles. And now the Dodgers are down to their last 6 outs, but still only down by 1 run. And at the end of 7, it's the Diamondbacks 4 and the Dodgers 3. All right, so we go to the top of the 8th, and the Dodgers bring in their closer, Tanner Scott, who has an ERA of 2.63 on the season, trying to keep this thing close as the Dodgers get to the meat of their lineup. Although I guess you could argue that really the meat is the top of the lineup. And that starts with Shohei Ohtani, but Shohei struck out last inning by chasing a ball in the dirt. So Tanner Scott's going to face Carroll, who's 0 for 3 today. And the first two pitches are balls. Next pitch on the way, and chopped back to the pitcher. Scott gets the ball and easily throws to first base for the first out. Dodgers somewhat desperately, at least, I don't know, I'm desperate, even though it's a regular season game, it's not a playoff game. I'll say desperately trying to avoid the sweep. So uncharacteristic. In fact, what the Dodgers have done throughout the season is respond to losses and to adversity very well, as Moreno is up next and swings like a fool at the first pitch, goes down to a knee. Up until yesterday's game, the Dodgers only had one time this season where they lost a game and didn't win the very next one. Out of 16 opportunities, 15 of those opportunities they converted into wins. Yesterday broke that streak. Now they're looking at getting swept after having the early lead 3-0 in this game, thanks in part to Shohei's leadoff home run. Some good early hitting by the Dodgers. But poor defenses hit him in the behind again. And the next pitch is fouled off. So the count now, after the last pitch being well high and outside, it is 2-2 to Moreno. And the next one blows it right by him for strike 3. So 2 away, and that's going to bring up Gurriel Jr. And Tanner Scott throws the pitch, and first one is swung on and lined over second base, but Tommy Edman dives for the ball, and it really almost has no right catching that one to make the out, but he does nonetheless. Love Tommy Edman. Wow. Was shifted over slightly already because there was a right-handed batter, so he's already kind of close to second base, but still an outstanding play by Edman. And Tanner Scott makes quick work of the Diamondbacks and does his job. So we're going to the bottom of the 8th now, and the Dodgers are down a run. So the Dodgers are set to send up their 2, 3, and 4 hitters this inning. And tasked with facing them is Juan Murillo, who's pitched in 40 games this year with an ERA of 2.97, 45 strikeouts, and 13 walks. So start with Andy Pages, who's 0 for 2 today, batting .270 on the season with 17 home runs. First pitch to Pages misses. Ball 1. Next pitch. Catches the top edge of the strike zone for strike 1. So the count's 1-1 to Pages. Next one on the way. Into the dirt for ball 2. And the charge music blares again through the speakers at Dodger Stadium. Now the count is 3-1. Would be great to get a leadoff walker, leadoff runner as a result of a walk. And the next pitch inside would have been ball 4 and it would have given us that runner, but Andy Pages swings at it. And so now it's full count. Pages has walked already once today. And he draws another one. Pitch is low and outside. And so we have that leadoff runner that we want with nobody on. And now Freddie Freeman coming up. This is the kind of clutch guy you want up at the plate. And the pitch is grounded to first. First baseman gets it, steps on first, no problem, throws a second, double play. Yikes. Man, oh man, oh man. Pretty not happy about that. None of us are. So just like that, there's 2 outs. And next up is Mookie Betts. Betts is 0 for 3 today. And even if the Dodgers pull this one out, they're going to definitely enjoy the All-Star break. They need a rest, reset, and lock in, as the kids say. Especially on the defensive side. And so far today, no hits for the meat of the Dodgers order. No hits for Pages, no hits for Freeman, and no hits for Betts. And that's where you have to produce. You're going to win. Early count to Mookie Betts is 2-1. Still only 1 run down. And one thing we do know about the Dodgers is they perform well in the clutch. Now the count is 2-2. And the next pitch swung on and grounded to first, picked up and underhanded to Murillo. And Tawa makes that play look pretty easy, which it was relatively. And so now the Dodgers have 1 more bat around, assuming they can keep this to 1 run, to tie the game and try to avoid being swept. So we go to the top of the ninth. Dodgers trailing by 1 run. Jumped out to an early 3-0 lead, thanks to some really pesky hitting by the Diamondbacks, driving Gideon into the 100 pitch mark, wearing him down after the first 4 innings, looking great. And then some Dodger defensive miscues. They've taken the lead, and they're looking at potentially sweeping the Dodgers. And chopping 3 games off of the Dodgers' lead in the National League West division standings. If you go back to the beginning of this series. So the Dodgers are going to bring in Phillips to face Vargas. Vargas is 2 for 3 today. He's had a double and a single, including an RBI and a run. And the count early to Vargas is 1-1. Ball that Phillips threw almost hit Vargas as it bounced in the dirt. The count now is 1-2 to Vargas. And swung on and hit to second base. Tommy Edman backhands it and throws it to first in time. And 1 away at the top of the ninth. And that's going to bring up Arenado. And the first pitch is called a strike, although it looked a little bit low. We didn't have the best angle. I didn't have the setup for that. And Arenado challenges and gets it overturned. So the count is actually 1-0. And both teams have both of their challenges intact right now. And the pitch from Phillips is fouled back. So the count's 1-1 to Arenado. 1 away. Phillips trying to keep the score where it's at and let the bottom half of the lineup for the Dodgers make up the 1-run deficit. Now the count 2-1. Phillips has looked pretty good since he's returned, and I'm cautiously optimistic about his role in the Dodgers bullpen. Next pitch blows it by him, a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. And so it's 2-2 to Arenado. And the next pitch swung on and hit deep. Today it's been an adventure with Andy Pages. Turns over his left shoulder, is going deep to the warning track, but makes the catch. Nice job by Andy. And after a couple of miscues, uncharacteristic for him and the Dodgers, he and Max Muncy have both had a couple of miscues defensively today, was able to make that catch. So that brings up Tawa, who up until today was a terror on the Dodgers. Today he's 0 for 3, but coming into this game, he was 6 for 9 in this series. Hopefully, if you're a Dodgers fan, you see him enter with a whimper, not end with a whimper, not a bang at the end of this series. And a check swing or a strike. First base umpire said yes, he did go. So now the count's 0-2. Next pitch on the way from Phillips. Misses for a ball, 1-2. Phillips trying to close the door in this inning. And hopefully the Dodgers have a little bit of dramatics for the home fans in their last at bat. So the 2-strike pitch to Tawa, and it's hit deep to left center. It's carrying, it's going, and this is definitely going to be gone. A home run for Tim Tawa. And now the Dodgers have even more work ahead of them as he comes home and stretches the lead another run. And now the score is 5-3. And Phillips, understandably, looks a little bit dejected. But you have to be careful with your body language. And the first pitch to Walschmidt, who's getting a turn at taking some hacks now, is fouled off for a strike, 0-1. And the next pitch misses outside for a ball, 1-1. Phillips has just got to shake it off and get on to the next batter. Next pitch misses low for a ball, 2-1. Phillips takes a big breath and delivers, and it's hit to right field. Kyle Tucker over there to make the third out of the inning. And the Dodgers, starting with Tommy Edman coming up, are down to their last 3 strikes. Excuse me, the last 3 outs. So we go to the bottom of the ninth. And if there was one person I'd want to lead off, it would be this guy, Tommy Edman. Highest batting average and as fast a base runner as anybody we have. Although, of course, the deficit is 2 runs, not 1. Paul Sewald is going to come in to face him. He's pitched in 36 games and has converted 21 of 22 save opportunities with an ERA of 4.36, which is a little bit surprising when the number's that high. So you have Edman with Kyle Tucker to follow and Teo Hernandez in the hole. First pitch, Tommy Edman misses for ball 1, 1-0. One fouled off, and the count is level. And next one backs Edman up a little bit. Next pitch is grounded to second, and a play easily made for the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up Kyle Tucker, who's 0 for 3 today. Batting in the 6th spot, and he has an batting average for this season of .245. And fouls the first pitch off. Starting to count 0-1. Next pitch to Tucker, in there for a strike, 0-2. And takes a hack and fouls it back. Count remains 0-2. And the next pitch is swung on and flied to right center. But center fielder gets there just short of the warning track, and now there's 2 away. And Teoscar Hernandez comes up, with the Dodgers having 1 out left to burn before this game is over, and they get swept. KO does not have a hit today. And his batting average continues to slide down, currently at .244. And looks at a strike. He has looked pretty lost today. Count 1-1. He's looked a little deflated and defeated as he's struck out, looking to the sky and saying, I don't know what the answers are. Chasing pitches out of the strike zone and not even getting close to them, fouls off the next one. And now the Dodgers are down to their final strike. And the next pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. And so the Dodgers get swept by the Diamondbacks for the first time since 2017. And they just did not look sharp from the very beginning of this series. I think a really important indicator is defense. And if you're not sharp on defense, which starts with your mentality, you're probably not going to be very locked in at the plate either. And so, unfortunately, that was the trend for the Dodgers. And so, the All-Star break in this case can't come soon enough. Needless to say, we are going to have a short break. I will not be live streaming the All-Star game. So enjoy whatever platform you use to enjoy that. And then we'll be back for after that All-Star break when the Dodgers face the Yankees, a classic matchup. But that's going to be all from LA Press Box. Thanks very much for joining us today. Sayonara and adios. Goodbye, Dodgers fans and members of the community that support Dodgers baseball and LA sports.